Okay, in this video you're going to get to see my actual status conference. I'd say it was a grand finale or the climactic moment, but it's yet to be decided what's going to happen here. So you're going to hear in this one, you're going to hear the Honorable Judge Michael Mcshane. You're going to hear America's worst attorney, Kurt Hermanson. You're going to hear Todd Cantamesa briefly, Todd the Fraud, and you're going to hear me try to get a word in edgewise, but get ignored. So basically what happens is this. The judge confesses that he and Todd, a couple of days back on the 16th, together decided that they were going to amend the petition of violation to add additional charges, additional allegations of violation conduct. Now, if those of you who don't realize what's going on in my case, I was violated for a supervised release in late February of 2020, and the supervision term expired in March 1st of the same year, just some odd 6 or 7 days after they got the violation filed. The summons, they summoned me, the petition for summons was in a different person's name entirely. They summons a guy named Dan Melindo, who's a victim in my case, with no mention of my name whatsoever in the summons. So, you know, just unconscionable mistakes, unconscionable deliberate actions happen in this case. It's just insane. You just got to watch the other video where I discussed the email, and you'll see that whole story broke down pretty thoroughly. So that's a quick brief rundown. So then what happens is they violate me for a new criminal case, a state court case. The state court case, of course, has my real name on it. They lie all throughout the petition of the violation, petition for summons to the Honorable Magistrate Judge. Just give him nothing but a fiction. I mean, the whole petition's a fiction, from the name that's on it to all the information. The court cases don't reflect the accurate name. It's just a complete mess. Probably, legitimately, 7 or 8 counts of perjury in there for Todd Cantamesa and Daniel Desnoy, easily. So, that being said, fast forward to a year and 2 months later, I can't get a revocation hearing. Well, reason being is the charge that they chose to violate me on is nothing more than a violation of my rights, in that I was falsely arrested. They removed exculpatory evidence from my discovery in the form of editing a video that would exonerate me, but they otherwise edited it and took it to grand jury. This is the state who did this, the state district attorney's office, and they lied to witnesses, tampered with witnesses, destroyed evidence, falsified evidence, you name it, everything you could think of that would get a DA fired and make him, you know, susceptible to a suit happened in my case. So that's the charge, the allegation of violation that Todd the Fraud brought before the federal court, put on the desk of Adam Delf, the AUSA. So here it is, a year and 2 months later, they've yet to give me a hearing, you know, lying in reports saying it had to do with COVID. I showed up to trial twice before COVID even hit. I was physically in the courtroom in Lane County Court, ready for trial in a suit and tie. You know, just lies on top of lies. Just watch the videos about the status memos for the status conference. You'll see all those lies broke down as well. So back on point here. At one junction, they even put a GPS unit on me illegally. This is it right here, cut off of my ankle. Totally illegally. You're going to hear that brought up at this hearing. That gets swept under the carpet as if it never happened, as if I didn't spend 60 days on home detention by means of a fraud. Please watch that video as well. You'll see that story broke down. Just atrocious things that have happened to me. But long story short, in this video, Judge Michael Mcshane is going to come off the cuff, completely off the cuff. Anybody who's with the courts is going to recognize that right away. He's going to say the most asinine things you've ever probably heard and cause my lawyer to do things that are frankly just illegal. Procedurally, they're illegal to do. So I'm going to let it play. All the lawyers out there, all the people at the AO's office, all the people at the courts, you're going to recognize this as complete nonsense as soon as you see it. I'll let it play. I'll interrupt it a couple of times to give analysis, but I'll just let it run for the most part, just to let you see what's going on here. That is the tech support guy who was helping us get the video started. This is this gentleman here. He's not with the, he's not a part of the proceedings. He's just a tech support guy. You're going to see the Honorable Michael Mcshane here. and then it's going to go to Kurt Hermanson on this side of him, and then I don't believe anybody's here. At one point, I believe it's going to be the court clerk in the middle shot. I don't think she speaks, but I'll let it play now so you could watch.
All right. Thanks, Judge. Okay, so Ms. Pugh, apologize for a technological delay on my end. Do we have everyone we need on the matter of name and reason?
We do.
Okay, quick point here I want to make before we go any further. Did you hear what he said? He said the matter of Michael Reason. Now, notice this for all the people with the courts that are watching this. He's going to call the case, or have the Ms. Pugh call the case, United States versus Michael Reason. I tell you now, that is a fraud. That is a deliberate lie. There's no such case anywhere named United States versus Michael Reason, period. If you look at all my filings, look up my case, I'll show you the court case number. You'll be able to determine this for yourself. Do you see the court case number? Take that number down. Its court case is 620CR00063-MC. That's my court case number right there. I don't know if it's coming in clear. Let me get something doesn't have the back side of it like that. Here's the court case number. See it? See who it's for? Dan Melindo. They added that true name stuff to this particular order. But the actual case, you look it up on Pacer, you look it up anywhere else, it does not say that name. They're calling a case that does not exist. Period. And knowingly, because again, you're saying it like this on the record, but then I get the transcripts from the court case, and what the transcripts say is United States versus Dan Melindo. So what's going on here? I don't understand it.
Okay, let's go on the record and I'll have Ms. Pugh call the case.
The United States District Court for the District of Oregon is now in session. The Honorable Michael J. Mcshane presiding. Now is the time set for criminal case 20-00063, United States of America versus Michael Reason, status conference.
Again, United States versus Michael Reason. She gave the court case. Anybody with the courts, look that up. See if that's the name reflected on the case. Isn't true.
All right, if I can have the parties please introduce themselves for the record to the government.
Good morning, Judge. This is Adam Dell for the United States.
Thank you, Mr. Dell, for the probation department.
Good morning, Judge. Todd Cantamessa for U.S. Probation.
Thank you, Mr. Cantamessa, and then for defense.
Good morning, Your Honor. Kurt Hermanson for Michael Joseph.
Reason, correct?
Yes, he's charged with Dan Melindo, but his true name is Michael Reason.
Okay, I'm sorry, you got cut off at the end there, so I was making sure I heard that right. All right, so maybe, Mr. Reason, first of all, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I hear you fine. Thank you, Your Honor.
So, my understanding, Mr. Hermanson, is there the amended petition alleging allegation of failure to abide by the directions of the probation officer.
Did you hear what he said? My understanding is that there is a new petition, an amended petition alleging new allegations of not following the rules of the probation officer. First of all, I'm not on probation. I never have been in my entire life, ever. Secondly, I'm not on supervised release. It expired. But more importantly, analyze what was said. My understanding is, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody say in the comments, but doesn't that man as a district court judge know right in front of his face, right in front of the computer, whether or not there's an allegation filed or not filed? And if it isn't filed, what the hell is it being discussed for?
Has that been filed and have you received that?
He's asking my attorney, has that been filed? Have you received it? How on earth would Kurt Hermanson, a defense attorney, know what's been filed prior to it being filed when he's not the one filing it? It's almost like it's a cue to the person who's present, Todd Cantamessa, to say, hey, here's what we're doing, go with it.
No, Your Honor, I don't have that. I have the status report.
Okay.
And the status report makes zero mention of it whatsoever at all. It was filed 2 days prior. So, again, what's going on here? This is not criminal court procedures. This is not legal.
Mr. Cantamessa and I had a discussion yesterday about amending the petition to...
So now let's analyze that for a second. You just asked him, had he received it, had he had knowledge of it being filed. Moments later, you say something that makes it impossible for the first question to make any sense. That you just decided this, you the judge, have now made yourself a part of the prosecution. You've now had a conversation in which you admit you and Todd Cantamessa decided something together. Clear-cut case of adjudicator also being the accuser. Unlawful. Supreme Court has ruled on that. The adjudicator cannot be the accuser. Under this situation, because of the way he worded that, wouldn't I be entitled to being able to call him on the stand and face my accuser? Would that not give me that right to do so? Obviously I can't. Why did he make that situation come about? I don't understand this, except for he's giving cover for Todd Cantamessa because he knows Todd can't sustain it if in fact this is what happens. But he can sustain it, so he's saying we did it together.
A new allegation of failing to abide by the probation officer's directive.
I'll back it up so you can hear it without my interruptions and put it back together. Sorry for interrupting so much. It's just very hard not to get those points in, because if you don't pay attention closely, you won't notice those nuanced points of why what's happening here is nothing more than a charade. This may have been decided literally at the moment it was happening, is what it sounds like.
He's charged as down the window, but his true name is Michael Reason.
Okay, I'm sorry, you got cut off at the end there, so I was making sure I heard that right. All right, so maybe, Mr. Reason, first of all, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I hear you fine. Thank you, Your Honor.
So, my understanding, Mr. Hermanson, is there the amended petition alleging allegations of failure to abide by the directions of the probation officer. Has that been filed, and have you received that?
No, Your Honor, I don't have that.
Okay.
I have the status report.
Okay. Mr. Cantamessa and I had a discussion yesterday about amending the petition to add...
Pardon me. I'd love to know what time yesterday. I would die to know what time of day yesterday. Because if you're discussing this yesterday, to add charges to the petition, to amend it, which you cannot do. My term of supervision has expired. I'll address that in a minute, but you cannot do that whatsoever. But just for argument's sake, what time yesterday? Because everybody's aware of the filing process in the federal courts. It's not something that happens in 10 minutes, okay? So if you just discussed it yesterday, how could you possibly be bringing it up now, acting as if you're unaware of whether it's been filed or not, acting as if it's a revelation to you that it's not been filed, even going so far as to say, you didn't mean to surprise my attorney, but clearly you did. You, if anyone, the judge, has to know it's been filed or not filed. Point blank. He has more ability to look deeper into that system than anyone else can, period.
A new allegation of failing to abide by the probation officer's directive. Mr. Cantamessa, I can't remember if that's been filed yet or not.
Did you catch the smirk? Did you catch the smirk? When he's queuing up Mr. Cantamessa for what's obviously some kind of charade that's happened on the spot. I'm convinced of it.
Of the probation officer. Has that been filed, and have you received that?
No, Your Honor, I don't have that.
Okay.
I have the status report.
Okay. Mr. Cantamessa and I had a discussion yesterday about amending the petition to add a new allegation of failing to abide by the probation officer's directive. Mr. Cantamessa, I can't remember if that's been filed yet or not.
Yes, Your Honor, it was filed yesterday. I believe it was awaiting signature, but it was...
Okay, here's Todd the Fraud. It's filed yesterday. Now, interesting. My attorney gets everything that's filed, as anyone with the courts knows, electronically immediately. It's right then and there. It's just automation. A document that's filed has that at the top of it. It says file. A specific time and day is recorded with the clerk's office to reflect it's filed. How is Todd sitting there saying it's filed, but yet Kirk doesn't know, and the judge is still inquiring as to whether it's filed and can't see that it's filed? I don't understand that. Maybe I'm not fully aware of how the process works, but it sounds like impossibly true, or impossible to be going down in that kind of fashion. Watch how they keep passing the buck. He says it's filed, but I don't know if it's been signed yet. I'll rewind it again.
No, Your Honor, I don't have that. I have the status report.
Okay. Mr. Cantamessa and I had a discussion yesterday about amending the petition to add a new allegation of failing to abide by the probation officer's directive. Mr. Cantamessa, I can't remember if that's been filed yet or not.
Yes, Your Honor, it was filed yesterday. I believe it was awaiting signature, but it was filed yesterday afternoon.
Sharp, you received that?
I haven't, Judge. It's waiting to be docketed. We have, we're short on criminal docket.
So here it is. Nobody's received it yet. It doesn't exist. You heard her say, when asked, have you received it yet? No, I have not received it. In other words, it does not exist as far as the law is concerned. It's just ambition of somebody. It's not a legal record. It's not a part of this case in any facet or form by the record because it doesn't exist. It has not been filed with the court yet. What the hell is he doing discussing it during a status conference, and then watch as my attorney gets put on the spot to continue the case based upon what? A fiction, something that's not true yet. It may come to pass that it becomes filed, but at the moment it's being discussed, it does not exist. Certainly my attorney doesn't have the benefit of seeing it, as he's definitely supposed to have prior to it being mentioned in a courtroom and being forced to make decisions about it. Has no ability to argue it, has no ability to contest what he doesn't even have a chance to see, what isn't even filed yet. It's unthinkable.
So, nothing has to happen today, Mr. Hermanson. I'm not wanting you to be surprised, but I did ask Mr. Cantamessa to...
I don't want you to be surprised, yet you just watched what happened. How on earth is that possible? You don't want him to be surprised, but you just clearly blindsided him deliberately. You know, as you're looking at your screen, it's not filed, period, point blank, into discussion. That's a falsehood. Secondly, I directed Mr. Cantamessa. The judge has now made himself the accuser. No way around that. I am entitled to cross-examine him. I'm entitled to put him on the witness stand under the Constitution. He has made himself the accuser. He cannot be the adjudicator. Point blank. You don't have to look any further than these court cases right there. These all address that. We hold that due process does not allow for the same person to serve as an accuser, advocate, and final decision maker. There's lots of cases that have settled this that have established, the Supreme Court says, you cannot be the accuser and the adjudicator. He just said, I myself directed Todd Cantamessa to accuse him. How could I possibly get a fair and impartial and unbiased hearing from the man who says he's making the accusation himself? I'll let you rewind. I'll rewind a bit, let you play it, then I'll shut it down. We'll make a part 2. It's getting too long.
Amended petition alleging allegations of failure to abide by the directions of the probation officer. Has that been filed and have you received that?
No, Your Honor, I don't have that.
Okay.
I have the status report.
Okay. Cantamessa and I had a discussion yesterday about amending the petition to add a new allegation of failing to abide by the probation officer's directive. Mr. Cantamessa, I can't remember if that's been filed yet or not.
Yes, Your Honor, it was filed yesterday. I believe it was awaiting signature, but it was filed yesterday afternoon.
Char, have you received that?
I have it, Judge. It's waiting to be docketed. We have, we're short.
Do you hear all the stuttering? Do you hear all the smirking? Do you see the smirks on the faces? Do you see the stuttering? This is a charade. I'm not a fool. Anybody who analyzes body language can see through this like a pane of glass. This is happening on the fly, and I'll tell you why. That very day, see my video on when I went to the courthouse and dropped off the police reports I filed against the United States Probation Office for stealing the identity of Dan Melindo, and within that was the satirical remake of the Meet the Parents video movie with Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro. I'll show it to you real quick so you know what I'm talking about. Let me show you. Within that was a brochure that I made, and this is it. This is why this is happening. Do you see that? That's the Honorable Judge Michael Mcshane's face imposed where Robert De Niro's would be, and that is Todd the Fraud Cantamesa where Ben Stiller's would be. So it's a little flyer I made to draw attention to what's happened to me. I dropped a copy off with the court security the very morning, about 2 hours prior to that hearing. No doubt they gave it to him. That's satirical. That is a way for me to get people to see this. Nobody's going to look at this black and white court document and do a damn thing but throw it in the garbage. When you do something like that, they want to, okay, read what happens. They want to see what's going on. Hey, that's kind of funny. What's it mean? And then all of a sudden you may have somebody who will go to your YouTube channel and see the truth. It's not meant to disrespect the court. It's not meant, in fact, the only one it disrespects is Todd Cantamesa, because it's got the judge looking at him kind of quizzically like, hey, bud, are you telling the truth while he's operating a lie detector test? So, again, it's got fake reviews from the NAACP, fake reviews from the ACLU instead of Rolling Stones, that kind of thing. Laugh out loud, hilarious. Todd can't to tell the truth of Mesa. Deserves an Oscar. We never seen so many rights violated in a single status conference. Changing a district court judge's order from curfew, verified by EM, to a more restrictive home detention. Wow. A truly gutsy and brave performance by what a risk taker, disregarding the judge. Todd the Fraud has nerves of steel. The ACLU. That's fake. That's just me saying that just to be satirical and draw attention. What performance by Todd the Fraud. I really thought he was an officer of the court. Bravo, NAACP. So again, that document, that's the front side of a brochure I made, got delivered, and then what you see in this hearing transpired next. And I don't know if I have a copy of the back side of it, but the back side of it was, let's see, I probably do it down here somewhere. And by the way, those of you who are new to the channel, all these are videos about this issue. All of these, they've yet to be uploaded. They're all videos and supporting evidence, the majority of them. So there's the police report from Daniel Desnoy. You know, here's some great remarks from Eric Holder. I'll include this probably just because it's fitting right now. Constitution guarantees due process, not judicial process. I'm going to cut this short. I'm going to make a part 2 of this. Please watch the other part. I'm going to get into what they're doing is completely illegal. They know it. And you're going to hear from my attorney. You know, it's just a total sham what's happening to me. Here's the satirical fake hearing that was going to go along with it. That's a real picture of Todd the Fraud smashed, getting handed alcohol by a minor. There's me. Again, this is just a satirical thing I did to promote the video. I've yet to add words to their mouths. I was going to do that like a comic strip. It's not, again, to disrespect all the courts or the probation. I have a lot of respect for United States courts. Certainly a lot of respect for the hardworking probation officers, self-sacrificing people of the AUSA's office. You know, this is directed at specific individuals who know they've broke the rules, the laws. They don't respect me. They don't respect the law. They don't respect their oath. They don't respect our country. They certainly don't respect the courts. I don't respect them. They're not respect worthy. Point blank, period. No one's going to make me say different. I've experienced the torment. I've wore a GPS unit for 60 days for no other reason but the color of my skin. I'm not going with this, the flow here. I'm not going to be, you know, some kind of coward or something and bow down where I know I'm not right. Ain't going to happen. Not a coward. Point blank. These are cowards. People who would run from accountability, would rather see me in a cell than be accountable to their own mistakes and deliberate actions. That's the definition of a coward. Can't face your consequences of your actions like a little kid afraid to get a spanking. That's what we got on our hands right here. Nothing more than that. I'll never fear a person like that. Never.